I'm hitting some wedges with some low-cost golf balls to show you the difference between these balls, and then I'm throwing in a premium golf ball to show you how differently they perform to these low-cost balls. So the first three golf balls in this lineup is the Srixon Distance, and then we go to the Srixon Soft Feel, and then we go to the Srixon AD333. Now the Soft Feel and the AD333 are the same price as each other, but the Distance is a little bit cheaper, so we get a bit more bang for your buck in terms of how many golf balls you get per pound or per dollar. And then I've got two other low-cost golf balls, which is the Vice Tour. And I got these from COSTCO because they were there, and I just thought it was rather convenient to do this in the test. And then I've got the Kirkland Signature Golf Ball, which by all means, you get a lot of golf balls for your money. It's like not very expensive to get 2 dozen. And then I want to compare them to a Srixon Z-Star Diamond just to show what that extra spend can do for your game. But by all means, there's some very interesting results so far. I've already hit 2 with each shot with this wedge just to sort of see, just to get a heads up of what they do. It's not great. So I haven't needed to delete any shots so far, but I'm going to go 1 shot with each ball, talk you through why they're more expensive, why things are cheaper. So the Srixon Distance is, I think it's one of the highest sold golf balls on Amazon. So they do sell a lot of them. But to me, that feels like it's going to go up my nostril. It's going straight up off the face. Not a bad shot, we're playing good golf with it. But you can see the strike on that face. There's like a bit of an elongated mark on there where the ball has squashed, rolled up a little bit and then launched. It hasn't stayed on the face very well. When we use a premium golf ball, it stays on the face a bit more. It doesn't rise up and it launches a bit lower with more spin. So we get a bit more glance off of these. And then we see some really interesting spin numbers. And then we go into the Srixon Soft Feel. And the Soft Feel is a softer feel. The inner core, the inside of the golf ball squashes a lot more. So with a driver, with slower swing speeds, we get a bit more squash and release off the face. And when we get nearer the greens, there's a lot more squash, so it doesn't feel as hard. It feels really nice and buttery off the face. But soft doesn't always mean spin, as you will see very shortly. I've struck that really well, maybe half a groove low. So it's got every chance of getting more spin, and that is a little bit higher, but there is only so much spin it can generate. When we have these 2-piece golf balls, there's 2 layers within the golf ball. You've got the outer layer, which is an ionomer cover, which isn't as soft as urethane. So urethane is a more expensive material, and that's why the premium golf balls are more expensive. This is a cheaper material on the outside of the golf ball, and it's a bit more durable, so you do get a bit more life out of the golf ball, but it doesn't get into your wedge grooves as easily, like I showed you here. As it makes impacts with the face, it squashes and rolls up before it goes off because it doesn't have as much friction as the urethane material. Now, I haven't seen any numbers from the AD333 sales, but for years they were the highest sold 2-piece ball in the UK for a pretty good reason, because the AD333 is a very good all-round golf ball. I'm just trying to make sure I clean the face between each golf ball to give them all a fair chance. Good looking shot, gets on the green, stops fairly quick. I mean, that's not bad. And then we go into the Vice Tour. Now, it has the word Tour written on it, which you'd think is good, but I think it's a harder core. I think it's got a firmer inner layer. It is a little bit more high-pitched, which is a bit more resemblant of the premium golf balls. Again, let's clean that face just to get the old cover material off, get some fresh grooves. This wedge is only a week old, and the spin numbers I've seen off it so far are low. But when the ball spins lower with high loft, it makes the ball go further. So it has got to the back of the pack with a bit more carry, but the spin is really, really low. Let's get that cover off. Get that off there. And Kirkland. Kirkland, also a higher pitched, harder core feeling, sounding golf ball. Really clicky, which isn't always a bad thing. Good yardage, spun back. Nice, there's loads of spin on that. But some balls that spin a lot, they spin a lot with a wedge and an iron, and then they also spin a lot with a driver. Some golf balls spin a lot with a wedge and an iron, and then they get low spin with a driver. There's a big variance between what the golf ball does, which is why I'm doing this series of golf ball testing. But that was impressive from 100 yards. And then we go Z-Star Diamond. Again, this is a completely different category of golf ball, different price point. It's almost just to give us a benchmark as to what something in a different category could do compared to these. If I leave the 2 best shots in with each golf ball, then we do see some funny numbers. If you're of the opinion that the golf ball doesn't matter, you're going to see something here that's very, very interesting as to the performance of your golf ball and your golf ball choice. I do want to do irons and driver testing with these golf balls as well, so future videos I will have that in there. So I appreciate there are a lot of numbers on here, but I'll go to a screen that's just a bit easier to digest. Srixon Softfield can get up to 8,000, but we've also got 4,000, and I think I hit that one slightly low on the face, so it did launch lower with more spin, but I had to thin it slightly just to get it to do that. But generally speaking, we're looking at really low spin rates. Again, we'll see the comparison in a second. Peak heights are 75 feet with the Z-Star Diamond. And then we've got 99, 99, 107, 82 and 82. So the Kirkland and the Srixon AD 333 are just on that slightly lower peak height, so a bit more penetrating going into the pin. Nearly as good as the 75 that we get with the Z-Star Diamond, but the other golf balls pop up and rise up the face and reach a much higher point, which will get affected by the wind more. Z-Star Diamond, 11,254 spin on average, but both over that 10,000 mark quite comfortably, but over 10,000 spin by 1,200. And then we see average spin rates of, like, the Kirkland is close. The Kirkland is the closest one there, getting that spin rate, but it's launching at 32 instead of 29.6 or 33 nearly. So it's just higher and it's just lower in spin. The others, 41 launch in the Vice Tour, 41 launch in the Srixon Distance, with 4,000 spin means that your wedges are very difficult to control on the greens. If you get a hard green in the summer, that thing is landing on the green and it is bouncing through, it's not stopping. Or at least not stopping as well as something else that's a bit more expensive. Now, AD 333 and the Kirkland are the 2 highest spinning balls here, and I rate them a lot more than I do the other golf balls. I'd rather go up to the AD 333, even if you're a beginner. Go for that little extra price just to get a bit more out of it. Now, I do want to show you what the Kirkland does with an iron and a driver before you go and buy too many of them. And My Golf Spy has a lot of information on the Kirkland golf ball as well. But even though we've got quite similar results, we're doing it all in very, very different ways. Now, I do not want to sacrifice too much spin in the Vice Tour and the Srixon Distance just to get a bit more off the tee. I still need to get that ball close to the hole. But the best scenario for a golfer that might want to use those golf balls that have less spin, even on a wedge, would be the sort of golfer that lands the ball short of the green and runs it in repeatedly, and you want to make sure that ball's going to release up. So maybe a senior golfer, maybe someone that's a bit slower, where you're hitting the ball to the front of the green, releasing up. Make sure that happens and use a golf ball like the Srixon Distance and the Vice Tour to encourage that performance, encourage that behaviour of the golf ball. If you start using a ball that spins more like the Z-Star Diamond, you're then going to land that ball short of the green, it's going to stay there. But for those golfers that just start getting a bit more speed, you're looking at the AD 333, the Kirkland signature golf ball, and maybe something a bit more expensive to get the ball to go over the bunkers, to land over the trouble, to land over that weird terrain at the front of the green, get on the surface and stay on the surface. Because that is the best way to score with a wedge, is to get the ball to land on the green and stay there. But I do appreciate not everyone wants to spend that massive amount of money. So stay tuned for the irons and the driver videos in these to see how the AD 333 and the Kirkland sort of hold up to each other. And it might just help you make a more informed decision in terms of what golf balls you're using and what golf balls you're going to choose for the season. If you're using a golf ball that has performance that isn't as good as something else, but you use the same golf ball constantly, you're going to get the same reaction from that golf ball more often, and then you've got one variable taken out, so you've got that consistency, and then your swing, you're trying to work to get that more consistent, or you might not be. But if you've got a variable golf ball and a variable golf swing, you've got 2 variables working to each other, make one of them the same and try and get that a little bit tidier, and then we get a bit more consistent altogether. But I will see you on the next video.